So I think we can start. Hi everyone, and good evening everybody. Welcome to the meeting of this evening, Theatre Practices for Human Landscapes. We have connected Milo Rau and Lino Guanciale, our guests of today. Thank you for being here. And the debate will be moderated by Rossella Menna, which is a dramaturg and scholar and PhD student in Naples and teacher of theater theory at the Accademia di Brera of Milan. And now, thank you for being here, connected with us. And we can start from
the station.
Yes, from the station and from the students' questions.
Yes, hi Silvia, thank you very much, thank you. Yes, we have Milo Rau that is waiting for his train that is delayed. He's not in Italy, he's in Berlin, but the train is late anyway. So thank you Lino and Milo to be here. I am very happy to moderate this talk between two stars of the international art scene. They are really different artists because we have different paths and different poetics, but probably we can say that there is one thing that they share that is one of the most important things for them, I think, that is this confidence they have in the transformability of the world in some way. And they share this common relationship with this idea of change. For instance, I think that Milo Rau these days, even if we are in a worldwide lockdown, is continuing to work. He's one of the most exposed directors on the scene. We see him in talks, we see him online, also in Italy. He talked with Barberio Corsetti recently, for instance, and he launched as director of NTGent also a school of resistance with the experts of change. So he's continuing to do what he has always done, also if theaters are closed. So trying to denounce the absurdity of this world, probably more, trying to stop it, trying to stop this condition. Milo, you can hear us? I think there is some problem with the... Okay, we go on. I say something about Lino, and then I will try to make some questions. If Milo can hear us better, probably.
For sure.
Yes. So I was telling that what is common, what you share with Milo Rau is this idea of the change, of the possible change some way. You are one of the most beloved actors of the last 10 years in Italy, probably the most beloved. You cross this theater and cinema and television, following your personal vision of the world some way. And we have seen you engaged with the masters of the thoughts, like Edoardo Sanguinetti, like Bertolt Brecht. So it's like it's as if you following a sort of new humanism, a trust in the radical transformability of the world in a full epidemic of capitalist realism, you know? Mark Fisher says it's much more simple to imagine the end of the world at the end of the capitalism. And so we are here because we have two artists that have an idea that is just moving from this position. I will not ask you questions about the current events and the present because, you know, we are still living it. So it's unuseful to talk about something that we don't know and to make conceptualizing about something that we are still living. And I also have to say that hereby I'm trying to mediate some questions that come from the students. So we are just trying to put in the center tonight questions and topics that students gave us. So I would like to start from your position, Milo and Lino, as directors of theaters. You both direct theaters. Milo is director at NTGent. You, Lino, are director of a theater that is called Teatro dei Marsi in Avezzano. Probably
yes,
a lot of people do not know this, but it's really important. So you both direct theaters, and so you direct concrete spaces, concrete people with programs, with a program of shows. But nevertheless, you both talk about the necessity, the need to break down the walls, to go around the world, to go on the street some way. And so my question is about this need you're talking about. Why do you think that it's necessary today to go out from the magic box? And in this regard, what is the sense of the traditional theater as a space? Probably Lino can start because Milo is taking his seat.
Yes.
Yeah, it would be great.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you for the invitation, and I will try to answer really synthetically. Well, I have the responsibility for a structure, a theater structure in the center of Italy, which is not recognized as an institutional theater, but is also a huge implant, a huge structure, 800 spectators is the capability of the implant. And it is situated in my native town, and the region I come from is not one of the most theatralized of our country. We got a history about regional theater with Teatro Stabile dell'Aquila, which is the most important historical and institutional theater of the region. But we can say that the consideration of the theater as a value in our region is quite low. There is more consideration about theater as a kind of entertainment, you know, and not as a cultural value like media channels for information, museums, libraries, and so on. And it is true for a great part of our country, not just for the region I come from. So my challenge in directing this structure is to try to communicate that theater and theater language is a huge vehicle of changing and transformation. As an actor, as a strange kind of actor, pop
Yes,
star, yes, pop star from side, and champion of Auditel video following, and rigorous and disciplined theater actor, and militant in a political Brechtian way, we can say. I try to face the challenge to direct a theater where people is not so interested and involved in what theater can say to their lives. Like the challenge of metamorphosis, you know, I'm trying to put in discussion those kind of security about entertainment and classical view about theater that is true for a lot of people in our country and from my region too. And to do this, I try to choose those operations, those projects that push up a lot an idea of theater as a vehicle of metamorphosis, vehicle of changing, and vehicle of how to say, destroying walls and barriers. It is not easy, because the first barrier you have to destroy is your concept of the audience. And not as an actor. For me as an actor, it is easier to have no prejudice when I'm on stage about the people looking at me or listening to me. As a director of a little, of a great leader structure in Italy, I have to say that the first thing I have to fight with is my prejudice about my audience. The tendency to think that the people is less prepared and less able to decode what you are proposing them than they really are, than they actually are.
Sure. Thank you, Lino. Milo, what about you? You wrote a manifesto that for us it has begun immediately a cult manifesto. We have read it, and you talk about the need to put down these walls to go around the world some way with the theater. So our question is, what is the sense of the theater as a magic box, the theater as a place where to go to see shows? If you talk about the necessity, the need to go around the world, what do we do in that place? We can't hear you.
The mic.
Yes, sorry.
Yes.
I put it out because of there are so many noise that I didn't want to disturb you. I mean, it's yeah. I mean, when I see the directors, for example, working in my theater, the NTGent, so they would give very different answers to what they want to do. For me, we announced our next season 3 days ago on Monday. For example, for next season, we declared what we want to do and how. And of course, on the one hand, I have an experience that is, you could compare to the experience of Lino, that when I came to the NTGent, and you know, this is an old structure, a city theater, a national theater, so it's one of the big houses of Flanders and of Western Europe. And I was also expecting a public that is not able to follow a Ghent manifesto, for example, to follow, to say bye-bye to the classics, and to have non-professionals on stage, and to have plays produced in Mosul or in Amazonia, or you know, and reading subtitles all the time, you know, or having congresses or live streams instead of Shakespeare. And 1 second.
Der musste auch nächstes Mal eine kleine Pause machen, der Zug hier hatte über 1,5 Stunden Verspätung. Also er war über 4 Stunden von Hannover auf diesem Zug drauf. Ich habe gerade mit ihm gesprochen, er kommt jetzt auch gleich, hat sich schnell noch was zu essen geholt und fährt jetzt wieder in Richtung Hannover.
It's very funny. Now you know what they announce.
No, because we don't understand German. What did he say?
What did he say?
He says the problem is the train was so late, so it took 4 hours more to arrive in Berlin. And now the train driver, he's exhausted, so he had to go to eat. That's what they were announcing. But he will soon come back.
Are you serious?
Yeah, no, it's true. So they said, no, but he had really to make a pause. We are sorry, but he will come back soon, and we can announce he will be soon back. And yeah, so
it looks like a great performance anyway.
Yes,
Yes, really.
It looks like for me to be in Naples. The train is stopping because the driver needs to eat something because he's tired. This is unbelievable.
Yeah, I mean, it's strange, but I think really the only thing that worked better in 44 or 45 in the last century in Germany was the railway. Really, I mean, it's a complete chaos. But anyways, and so I was impressed by the ability of the public to, I don't know, to take it. So what I found out on my big experience is very simple, that if something is really touching the people, or is interesting, or is intellectually interesting, or emotionally interesting, or politically, they will come. They will come anyway. Of course, you can write Shakespeare and Chekhov and stuff like that, and then you have a kind of a ritual bourgeois style that you will have kind of full house, because everybody wants to see the Three Sisters as a part of the education, you know. That's a trick you can use. But when you don't use this trick, you kind have to have another relation to the public. You have to take it seriously. And I was impressed how prepared everybody was. Old people, young people, people that were never in theater, or people that went there for 20 years, how prepared they were to be taken in serious. So to say it very, very simply, you know. On the other hand, I think that the time of the classical theater is really over. I mean, Corona now is helping a lot, of course, to close the structures. But I think it was already, the time has come to change it. So I have to say that it's not so difficult to make this structural revolution as it would have been perhaps 20 years ago, you know, or 30 years ago. So now the moment is really is really well prepared. So and that was my experience. Of course, it's different. So for me, it's very interesting to listen to people coming from France or from Italy or from Latin America or wherever, to see how it functions there. For example, when you go to England, you have a quite, let's say, popular theater scene. You have actors that everybody would know. While in, you have this also in Flanders, for example, in Holland. While in France, you know the film actors, but you wouldn't know the theater actors. And you know the theater actors because they play in film. And then when they go back, it's kind of an event. If Isabelle Huppert, as an example, I think the same with Lino. If then they play theater, so you go for the actors.
Thank you.
No problem. Yeah, I'm preparing here some collaboration, perhaps behind the scenes.
Yes, we're working on it.
But on the other hand, I think we are more a tradition of formats, of also of directors, of performers, of people that are making the whole concept, you know. And I think that's the theater. I mean, Rosella is freezed. I hope you hear me, Lino, still.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes,
Rosella is there too. Okay. She was freezed, and I never know what the German Bahn is doing with me. So it's and I think this is one reason why people are so prepared to what is happening now in theater, to the mixing of forms, etc. Because this was announced for many years. On the other hand, leading a structure, I don't know how it is for you, Lino, but programming a house, doing a season, we have 3 houses, a big house, 2 smaller ones. We are touring, we are inviting, we are producing, we are, and I was impressed. It's a quite simple job. Huh? After one season, you have understood how it works. So it's not such a mystery, you know. It's not rocket science to do a city theater. I have to confess, I was impressed. Huh? I imagined in much more, you know, like Sleepless Nights and stuff. And it's a very beautiful thing, this machine of people and what you can do. But yeah, that's
I have
it.
One more question about this, and then we will go on. About the public interest. When you talk about the traditional theater and the need to stay with the city, we also talked about them with Lino in another meeting. So I want to ask you and Lino, what do you mean by public interest? What is of public interest? How a season can be of public interest? Because you know everything. Also in England, probably there is a director that says, I'm working the public interest because I'm making a season that responds to their tastes and to a tradition that for us is the best in the world. So what do you think is the public interest, Milo and Lino also?
Go, Milo. A good moment for your connection.
Okay, I have some minutes more, I think. I will stay a long time here on the railway stay. So, shall I, Lino, or you want to start? You have...
No, you can start it. Yes.
Okay, thank you. I'm very interested in the public interest, I have to say. I think theater is from public interest, or the stage is a public place, and the theater is a public institution. It's not because it's financed publicly, but because it's a public art. You do it in public. It's different when you do a movie, for example. It's different when you write a book. It's even different when you make a live stream, you know. And that's why I'm really interested to make more than just plays, you know. I'm interested in creating events or creating, let's say, I don't know, as I call it, symbolic actions, plays that are more than just like representing or adapting or whatever, but doing stuff that can somehow replace even in moments of crisis public institutions. So, for example, we created many institutions through theater, like the General Assembly, so a World Parliament, or this Congo Tribunal, a tribunal in the Eastern Congo, an economic tribunal, or once we founded a party, and very seriously, I mean, a real party, a real tribunal, a real parliament, and that's for me what actually theater is, of course.
Well, it is quite difficult to individuate something like how to say, general public interest. When you have the responsibility of a structure in a city, and my example is paradigmatic for the Italian province, I say. We are now the National Theatre, we're now the huge institution, we have a little budget, and I always have to fight day by day. Last time, 1 hour ago, with the administrator of my common, of my town hall, to understand how to make theatre happen. Yes. And around this summer and with the next season, many times the answer I think that I could give to this question is the public interest is the public balance of the town hall. This is the answer of my how to say, of my commitments, you know, of the people I work for. But I know that the point is another point, or I have the presumption to think that I know that the point is another. I think that it is not correct to have a line of what is good that people goes to watch in theater. Okay, when I said before that the main difficulty for me was to overcome my prejudice about the audience, I meant this: everybody hates somehow the place where it comes from, and tends to think that the people is less smart or less evoluted than they really are. But about theater, the obstacle was to overcome the prejudice that because of theater is my life or is my job, I knew something more than the people. I had to give some chance, okay, to watch spectacles and plays in the theater city hall. So there is no exact receipt, I think. And mostly it works the artistic approach I saw. What do I mean? What I feel that works in terms of communication of our present, and in terms of linking our present to the difficulty we have in Italy with the consideration of our memory, historical memory, then is good to give the opportunity to be seen, okay, from the audience. So I'm totally I think Milo is right when he says that because even of the pandemic emergency, probably the time of classics, the way we thought about classics before, is over. But it is true mostly, I think, because in Italy we are not thinking enough that we have to rebuild our consideration of how to organize our theatrical system. What do I mean? Probably the system of changing of tournée, changing of spectacles, the classical platform of classic plays going around from an important theater to another will be no the future. But will be no the future because of the intention of one director or other direction. There will be no way to do it. So because of
now there is no way to do it.
Exactly. Exactly. Yep. There is no way to do it now, and there is no way to forecast when it will become when the normality will come back at all. So it is time to take the chance to work with the territory. I think to work with for the people of that. Each theater from each city has the responsibility to rebuild his connection with the audience, starting not from the classical offering of a theater, Shakespeare, Pirandello, and then something new. No, it's time to work on something new, new writing, little but solid ensembles of actors. It is time to rethink our way to think about theater production in our nation. I have to say, and I close, that I don't think that this kind of air smells enough for more of the people having the responsibility about theater in our nation. I don't see a concrete way to perceive it. You know, too many people in our country, I think, is linked to a classical way to think about the organization of theater, even now in the time of pandemic changes. And it should be an opportunity. I think so.
I like the optimism of both. Good vibes. Probably the real sharing between you. Milo Rau talks about, Milo, can you hear still? Yes, okay. You talk about global realism as I read the description of the internal space of world capital with its nightmares and hopes, its implications and its hidden force. So my question that is also for Lino is, that is a Brechtian and a Sanguinetti lover, a Brecht lover. Where do you think the imagination is in this work of unmasking all the bad of the world? Where is the place of the imagination of alternative way to see the reality? I don't know if my question is do you understand my question?
Yes, I think.
Okay.
But I'm not sure, so I will try.
Try. Yes, I'm just trying to talk about the unmasking work. That is one of the most important tasks today for every artist, unmasking, saying the truth, or at least trying to say that the reality is much more difficult than what you think. So I put you at the theater and I ask you to see in face at the reality, at the face of reality. At the other hand, we have the imagination, the possibility to smell different perfumes, you know? So my question is, where is the imagination, this word of unmasking?
Well, I will try to give a synthetic answer about the relation between reality and truth and reality levels. I think Milo Rau is one of the best answers.
Very well.
Yes, the best one to give answers about it because of his poetic, you know, that I really appreciate so much, and I know that I'm not the only one. But about the place of imagination today, well, I always tend to think that the great bet for The Big Short, to paraphrase a lucky title of the latest years, The Big Short for theater should be to build a great synergy, a real and concrete, consistent synergy with the world of education. Because it is something that we tend to do not so much, and you know, every country has his own theater imaginarium, you know, his own consideration about the value of theater in the people's lives and so on. I always thought that, but it is my point of view, this is sure, that in Italy we should work more about listening new generations, but not so much from the street, more from the education channels. Why? Because I tend to think that the social masks are a damnation. They never fall down. When we are home, when we are on the streets with our friends, when we are at school, and so on. But during the process, the formative process of an individual, something happens. The person working on himself to understand and learn something probably shows the sincerest, the most sincere part of himself, and somehow a kind of truth. And in Italy, we have a huge lack of connection between theater and new generation, but most with the educative and formative centers. I mean, universities, schools, where I think that a huge place where imagination grows is there. And we don't listen to this so much in writing and in imaging our modern stage. But, you know, this is one of the possible answers. What I should dream for my country at the moment would be a premier who would not say that we are so funny and we give so many chances of entertainment, even if I work about entertainment too. I would like to see someone like it happens in France. And Macron is not a genius, I think, but he said, and it shows a different cultural approach. He said to the people doing my job, that for the age of COVID, it is better to bet on huge relations with schools and educative centers. And I think that it is part of that revolution of our production system that could work, because it means working on imagination.
On imagination of different social structures, you are talking about that, probably.
Yes, yes. For me, there's no way to be imaginative than this.
Okay. Yes, this was the question.
Yes.
And this is the question also for Milo, but for you too, if you want to continue to go on. Do you really think that the change is in social structure? The real change can be in changing social structures. I mean, this is a question, a true question. Do you really think that if you show people that something is working very bad, something can change? Taking care of that piece of reality? Do you think this is possible, that art can be that?
I think it's time for Milo now. No, then I will answer.
I don't know if Milo is still with us, because he's freezed. Milo, are you still with us? He's not, unfortunately. We have really big problem of connection. Silvia, you can say something about this connection? No. Lino, you have to answer. I'm sorry.
But we have to.
Yeah, 1 second. I'm solving the problem. I'm sorry.
Yes. I'll be glad to hear Milo's answer about it, because it is really about the power of art, you know, in changing the world. And different artists, different people could give different answers about it. Sure. And it's good. And it's good like this, because the shame is when the answer is just one. For me, art and theater have this kind of power, but not the power to change the world, the power to improve the tendency to question to ourselves what's not working. This is the matter, I think, and this is what theater and art can do, give questions more than giving answers. When they give answers, most of the time, the artists are not speaking. Politicians are speaking using the artists. That's what happens many times.
Thank you, Lino. And Milo is back? No, Milo has left again. This is absurd. Yes, he has just left because his connection is really unstable. So I think that we can go on, and then we come back on some questions with Milo Rau. Probably this topic of reality, of the relationship between reality and politics, is a topic really important. Milo, you are here? Can you hear me? No, you can't.
I'm back.
Here he is.
Yes.
Okay, you're back.
I'm back.
So,
I'm back. Yes. I'm afraid they cut sometimes the internet for some reason. I don't know.
don't worry, we
yeah.
are here.
I missed a bit Lino's part now. Yeah.
I was just talking about the power of art and theater, not to give answers but to give questions, because giving the people the chance to question themselves about even political issues. But when the artists give answers, many times they're not speaking for themselves; they're speaking from someone else, politicians or so on. And this is what I was saying.
Yes, Milo, my question was about your trust in the possibility that art can show something bad and some way creating a change in that piece of reality. So my question was, do you really think that it is possible to work this way? Do you really think that showing the problems and the bad situation, the worst situation in the world, can help to move something in those situations? And where is the space of the imagination in this work?
I think how to say, as a director, you are always the first spectator, you could say, or you're the guy who's giving a room to the others to work. Because I mean, it's different with Lino, but I become a director because I'm not an actor, I'm not a set designer, I'm not a cameraman, I'm not, I'm not a professional in any kind of artistic job. So perhaps I'm a bit of a writer or an activist. But what I do is creating a space for other people, and creating a space means not a space that I give them a hall. It means that I bring together people and I construct collectives, so to say. So, for example, when I do a play or the Jesus film we did, we brought together professional actors and activists and refugees and citizens and Catholics and non-Catholics and the Muslims and atheists, and and this mixture for me is the answer in itself. And I think everybody would be interested in a play, or it's myself that is, when you see that the production process is more important than the product. If I feel in watching a film or reading a book, or that everybody worked for the product all the time and they didn't really live the production, they didn't really find out things they didn't accept, they didn't really the job for me, and then I lose my interest very fast. So you can feel it. As a child can feel it when you are together with it, but you're not present because you are thinking on how can I finish this game I'm completely bored of. So how can I do it good, And I think this kind of professionalism, which is for me, let's say that the quality of bourgeois art, or can be a quality of bourgeois art, never interested me at all. Yeah. So I think, of course, you have to do good art, or you have to be, I don't know, it has to function somehow, but that's all you can say about technique, But I think you have to work on your motivation. You have to work on your collective. You have to work on which kind of space I want to open for the public. So I think this is the art I'm interested in. That's what I would call political, and then appear what you could call a representation or a critique of society, but in becoming a real situation in itself. I mean, if I have good actor and a text from Chekhov, I can go to sleep as a director. What would I do then? I mean, all the work is done, and I think interesting is for a public when they feel that the people working are really working in the Marxistic sense, trying to become human by doing art, And this is what's touching me. When I understand that the people on the stage is really listening, they are really gathering, there is a real relation, a real situation. They are not only playing, I am Nora, I am the husband of Nora, so I have to hit her, and she has to cry, and then she has to leave the marriage, because that's the story, No, but there is perhaps another story that is interesting, and I can understand and participate in that story, And this is it's not so simple. It needs time. It needs confidence. It also needs money, by the way, to buy time. So I mean, it's a complex economical construction we are talking about. Yeah, only fantasies will not help a lot, and there's where the political struggle come in, where we should talk about the general basic income. To give a very simple example, that we don't need to make 10 productions a year to survive, but we can do one production, you know. Or we have what I think that's before I lost Lino, when he was talking about small effective ensembles, that we have really people working together. And if an actor sees, or as you became a director, or I sometimes am a dramaturg or an activist, or I don't know, I take another job, that you could take over all job. You are not like in your little sector and there you are working like crazy and making your career. You have a political and an economical space where you can change your professions into theater. Because for me, that's the interesting thing. Why did I start to make theater and not writing? Because you can write, you can make films, you can stage, you can make a political action, you can go outside, you can be in the room, you can film it and stream it, you can only discuss, you can make a book, you can, you know, theater is just another word for bringing people together and work. And the only question is, how is this space created that they really can work and create?
Yes, and so in this regard, what is an actor? What is the job of an actor? This is in particular for Lino, but also for Milo. What is your ideal actor or actress, of course? And do you think there is a particular training for a European actor today? What should he do to be an actor? What kind of school, for instance? Because this is, here we are in a school, we have a lot of people that are studying to become also actor or actress. So what does it mean to study to become an actor, and what is an actor for you?
Milo, do we want to take advantage of your connection?
Probably
you want to answer?
better, yes.
No, it's fine. I want to
You have
listen.
your connection, so probably
I think it will be stable, and if I will come back. I come back.
Okay, I'm going to answer quickly. Well, I'm an example of a traditional formation because I studied at the National Drama Academy. I started working with many of the main actors of our stage. And then I passed to cinema and then TV, and I never stopped working in important places. By the way, I can say what helped me more to prepare me, to train me out for the stage. And it was my life approach, or better, the way I decided to approach my life. I do an example. I am lucky because I have been chosen as a testimonial for the UNHCR, the UN Agency for the Refugees, and I'm one of the Italian testimonial representatives. And I'm lucky because I traveled with them in missions in Lebanon and Ethiopia, and I had the chance to do something because of their presence in my life, to do something that I could not expect to do in my everyday life, or in the life I expected to have when I was 20. I met people living in a limit condition that has nothing to do with my life, that has nothing to do with my stability of young men living in the good side of the world. You know, listening to them, be a spectator of their lives for a while in an intensive way. 1 week is not enough to know anything, but it's good to feel something, you know, when you try to be a good receiver. Helped me a lot to understand that what my job can do to change the world, you know, is even just to work. What do I mean? Milo was talking about what a play can do, what happens on the stage can do to the people when there is good listening, there is good connection, between the people on the stage. They hear each other, they are together, and they talk about the world, just witnessing their way to work. Okay, the process is more important than the product. I totally agree in this, and I totally agree when we say, or we can say that what theater can witness about changing the world is the theater himself, the mechanism of theater when it works, and about making it work, listening my friends on stage when I'm with them, my colleagues, giving them the truth I have to give, to have their own contributor of truth. Truth is problematic, but we have to name it somehow. What happens on stage, okay? The concreteness, the fact that what happens there is true, okay, even if it is not real. Well, that kind of experiences have been more instructive for me than the technical formation that it was important to have, and that I have had in my academy formation. What I could suggest to some guys or girls wanting to do this kind of work would be this: a school is good, but there is life outside, and what we want to do has a lot to do with how the world works, and we do something that witness that. When the relations works, they can change something in the people looking at them, and probably. Well, I'm used to say and to think, and I close that one of the probably the 10 most real moments of my life have happened on stage. You know, in a place that is not real at all, and so this is what we can witness to the world, and in instructing ourselves, we got to take it present.
Of course, but I would also like to ask. Milo Rau left again. I can't believe this.
He will come back.
Yes, he will come back. But I was asking you one more question about that, because we are talking, yes, of course, to be present on the scene, on the stage, to be some way in the process with a particular spirit, if you want. But how do you teach this? What do you teach in a school? If you don't teach in a school to make a character in the most credible way, you know, the representative theater is that I have to be a realistic Hamlet, so I can train myself with my voice and with my movements, my gesture, to be a credible Hamlet. If it's not this, it's not the representation, our aim, our purpose. How do we train an actor?
Well, I think that it is important to train the technical aspects and the traditional aspects. It is a topic, you know. You have to know how to make your Hamlet credible. Yeah. You have to know it, but it's not enough. That's what I think. You have to improve your imagination. And the only ways to improve our imagination are reading, studying, be passionate in reading a lot, and looking at the world outside. Trying to imagine how to change it. One thing is not enough without the other, I think.
Thank you, Milo. Thank you, Lino. Milo is back. What about you? What is an actor and how do you train it? Because you also wrote that at least a couple of actors should be not professional. So where is the technique? How do you train them? How do you choose them? We can't hear you, Milo. Your microphone.
Poor Milo. Okay.
Yeah, poor you. I'm so sorry for this.
This is like a triathlon performance.
This, yeah.
Yes, and in the meantime, we have problems with YouTube streaming. So we have different problems on different tables tonight. Okay, Milo, it's up to you.
Okay. Yeah. So I wanted to say I am choosing an actor like I would choose a friend, or a friend in the sense that somebody I know that it makes more than only two persons sitting together, but together there clicks, and we kind of become more. We become a situation together. We become a kind of you couldn't say a super brain. Perhaps sometimes it's also very difficult, and it's because of the difficulties that you do it, that I say, okay, let's join people from Amazonia and let's talk together about the Greek drama. So what could it become, you know? And how to train actors, I have no idea, because I'm not trained in any profession, so I couldn't say it. Sometimes I'm trying to do a workshop, warm-ups, it never works. So I think the only thing that for me really works to work together as a project is something that makes sense, that some people together want to do something. You understand what I mean?
Yes, of course.
That's the only thing that works. So it can be, I don't know, it can be a play, it can be a season, it can be a film, but it can be also a political campaign, for example. It can just, you want to have a house, you don't know where to live and you want to have a house. So this can be a project, and you have to be very creative to find ways together, you know? And of course, I'm always searching for people I think it could be interesting for me to work with them, but I also, as a polite guy, I think also it could be interesting for them to be inside. So I ask them politely if they want to join, because I can't force people. I don't have enough money, and if they want to join, and many times they want. Sometimes they want for a time, and then they don't want to continue, or in the middle of the way you find somebody, and then he joins or her joins. I think the most important for an actor is, for me.
No. Impossible.
This is a performance. This is
The
a
most
performance.
important thing is stop.
Yes.
Great.
Now we are all waiting.
Being a director is not that you kind of tell to everybody how he has to move, etc. It means really to invest yourself in a project. I hope I was audible.
We missed something.
Yes, we missed something. The most simple, you said the most, but he's not with us.
It's fantastic. Fantastic. It's a great experience.
Yes, it is, totally.
Yes.
But it's a really interesting matter for me, because, you know, in Italy, we have, I don't know in Europe, because I'm not expert of this topic, but in Italy, we have a large discussion about the schools.
Yeah.
What is a school? What do I teach in a theater school? What is the purpose of a school for an actor or an actress? And, you know, also with National Theatre, Lino, we have different kinds of idea of school. Milo, you're back. I can see you. So we missed just some words. You were saying the most important thing for an actor is, go on, with the microphone.
Great, Milo.
I think he's trying to switch on.
Okay.
I'm actually back, but I think the connection is too bad now.
Yes, but we can hear you.
I go out and come back again, huh?
Okay.
Yeah?
You want to go out? No.
Out of connection, yes, but it's coming back.
Meanwhile, there is a question in the chat. I really want to, this is for excitement, okay? I really want to highlight the importance of the cases you present in the works of amazing Milo Rau, especially on the movement techniques nowadays, about equality and the rights of humans too. People are speaking out about it especially, and overall the black-skinned people, thank you for the important work of yours. You are an inspiration for me as I want to be a director. Okay, it was a love letter for Milo Rau. That is absent.
Each one of us should have could have his own love letter for Milo, you know.
Yes, of course. Yes, love letters, but also a lot of questions that I have for him and for you about this idea, as we said, of reality. The idea that what works, what really works. when you want to change something. So how do you work to change? Because it's important, you know. It's not the same if you work some way or in another way. And so for us, also because we are in the context of a university in this case, I think it's important to just to point. Milo, we have here a letter, a love letter for you. But I will read you after, because I have already read for others. Try to answer our question about the actor. The most important thing for an actor is? Can you hear me? No. Can you hear me, Milo? Because I see him and he's not pleased. Hello? Non ci sente.
Can't hear us.
Oh, wow. Very well. But we can hear you. Try to...
Yeah.
We can hear you.
Okay. Very fine. So you have to ask me the question by writing,
I will
but I
ask
can't
you
hear you. I just see her. Strange. It's I don't know what happens now. I'm so sorry. It's really I think I have to liberate you from this situation. Huh?
No, let's go.
It was a big pleasure to be with you. Thank you. I can't hear it.
You can't hear us? Ah, ci ha abbandonati. Okay. He said goodbye. Okay, if you have some questions for Lino before saying goodbye and to close this conversation, probably if you have some questions, this is the moment for you.
In the meantime, I could try to say something about what you were asking about the education of an actor, the training of an actor here in Italy, and it is a good thing that we have a debate about it in the latest times, because for a long we have had a concept of the actor training not in time with our times, I think. And nowadays, there is a generation of young wannabe people, young people who wants to be an actor or an actress in our country, or a generation of actors my age, I could say, that are more able than in the past to see that there are many needs in an actor training that we could not think about something like 15 years ago, but now it's time. What do I mean? Milo was talking about something before that we could paraphrase as the necessity to be multitasking, you know, to know how to do many things. And so knowing how to do many things, it means that an actor must be ready to be a believable intellectual part. Must be able to have some instrument, some tools he chooses to have, choosing what kind of references to have in his formation, in his intellectual education, to read the world and to put in front of the people his own position about reality. And how to translate it in training a young actor. It is obvious that technical aspects are important. It is obvious that the talent, the gift is important, but it is an ambiguous concept. I think that what I try to predict, to guess what Milo was saying when he said the most important thing for an actor is, and I tried to guess it because of what he said later. Probably he was talking about the interest, the involvement in the project, the ability to be in, and to be part of it, and to take part for it or not. So it is important amongst the technical formation to have how to say, to put in our organigrammas, in our curriculums for the young actors, topics like organization, topics like how to make up in the place you live those kind of relations that that can help you to do your job the right way. Networking, and I mean, when I mean networking, that is a topic. I mean networking with the cultural institutes of the place you live in and you work in. How to be able to use different media languages. It is important for an actor nowadays to know that his job is on a stage in front of a webcam, but even on the other side. An actor must be skilled, how to say, even in using other medias. And it is important because it changes your cognitive disposition to your job, your way to read the reality. We are close to a kind of humanistic formation, something encyclopedic. I see it, and a school cannot just for itself be enough for it. It's a life process, is a path, but a school must how to say, point you the way, and put yourself in the condition to know your limits in your moment, and to know that you have to invent, you have to find out your way to overcome those limits. You'll never know what you're interested in if you don't study enough the reality around you, if you are not curious enough. And I think that most of the Milo's theater and Milo biography teaches it. He comes from other specific areas and other studies, and he has chosen to use theater because of its nature of multiple language condensative experience. Yeah. And even for the vocation of theater to not to be specialistic just in one sector, but to be open to many languages together. An actor must be able to prepare himself all his life long, I think, to do this, to be able to join many areas in his job.
There is a question for you.
Oh, wow.
Hello, we have I love you, Lino, but this is, we go on. Hello, Lino.
Thank you, but let's go on.
Hello, Lino. Maybe my question is a little general, but I'd like to ask you about what inspires you to keep doing art, and what's your goal or aim, or maybe an important message you would like to transfer with your work, if there is a specific one, or maybe what you think art in general should transfer. Thank you for your time and important words too.
Well, I can answer with something, with an extract from the previous dialogues. We talked about how can theater or art change the world, or let the people know that something must change. Yeah. It means to interrogate ourselves, to question ourselves on the relation between art and power, art and reality, art and individual, and so on. I was very touched by an answer that Milo gave us before, when he was saying that what touches him when he is directing actors is to see that, to feel that things work on the stage, that people on the stage are really together, are really connected, and they are really involved in what they are saying and doing. I have a personal position about it, a personal point of view. In theater, it is possible, how to say, to do something like an anatomical exercise to the reality. It is possible to use the theater and the theater stage like a kind of lens of a microscope, you know, and to feel and see on stage something that occurs every day around us, but we cannot touch. The truth of a relationship, the truth of people listening each other or not, is not so perceivable in everyday life as it is on stage. That's what makes, for me, stage so charming, so fascinating, because I can see there something about reality and understand there something about reality of my feelings, of my emotions, of my cognitions, that it is impossible to extrapolate, to straniate, a kind of neologism, Brechtian neologism, straniate from the reality for itself.
Yeah.
I think that an aim, a goal for an artist must be this: if you do your job in the most curious way and in the most powerful, with the most powerful involvement in what you're doing, what happens on stage is that on stage relations work in a way that they don't in everyday life. In a more powerful and synthetic way, we can feel and witness something that is always around us, but we cannot touch. This is something that, for example, really touches me about Milo's theater, because he works a lot on a kind of cold register for many of the acted performances in his job. For example, the history of a machine gun is made with an actress doing apparently a cold performance for all the spectacle long, almost the spectacle long. But in the prologue and in the epilogue, the reality comes with a boom on ourselves. And with the reality of the witnessing of that real survival from Rwanda genocide, we can contextualize, and understand perfectly the sense of the coldness, apparent coldness of the actress during the spectacle itself. There on stage, it gives me the chance to feel something that is not really reliable in everyday life. So I think that as an actor, as an artist, everybody could have this kind of goal, but it is inside the job itself.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you, Lino. Thank you very much.
But I think Milo is back.
Milo, you're back.
I'm back.
Milo,
I don't know for how long.
Try to answer to our question. You were saying the most important thing for an actor is, and you stopped everything. The most important thing is?
What a cliffhanger! Great. So
yes.
The most important thing for an actor is, and this is really a mystery I'm now delivering, the most important thing for an actor is... No, I'm making jokes. So. Okay, I don't remember where I was, but I'm a bit impressed, or I'm shocked that I made this starting point, because I can't fulfill the prophecy. I'm sorry.
Say what you want. Say what you want about the actor, about the schools, about being on a stage.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, for me, what I said in the beginning, that of course. Oh, okay. Wait a second.
Ticket time.
I have to show the ticket. So it became really not really a content-filled appearance of me, but I have some funny moments. No.
Yeah.
Yes, for sure.
No, it's for an actor. I mean, there's of course it's kind of the inner circle of being an actor, and that's what is. I mean, it's the only visible person in theater. So, it's kind of, if there is no reality in the play, if there is not what we call like real relation to the public, to the other actors, to the topic, to the reality of the situation you are in, then you have a problem as a public and as a director, of course. So this is, I would say, the inner circle, and I think I'm trying to work only with actors that are completely ready to be in this real situation. But on the other hand, but this is more the artist. I would to say that I mean, and as an actor, I think the main problem you have that you depend from a form or from a form that is somehow given to you. And how can you liberate yourself inside a form? And I think only by participating, by creating this form. So I think the only thing you shouldn't accept as an actor that you're kind of the executive of an idea, you know? I mean, this is a rule for also for political life. If there's a dictator, you shouldn't just follow. You should perhaps question what is happening, you know? So, and I learned that there is a lot of people, and this is strange, and I think that's perhaps it's only in German-speaking world like this, but they are very different in a private political life, or in their political life, in their artistic life. So they would, as actors, they would follow the line, and as political persons, they're crazy activists, or the other way around, that they're extremely bourgeois, and then as actors, they're crazy Artodian figures, you know, like getting naked all the time, and I don't know, stuff like that. So you have, and what I'm searching is kind of a complete, is to overcome the schizophrenia of daily life, that you are not the same all the time, that you are kind of trying to fulfill, let's say, that when you go to rehearsals, when you are on stage, it's the same. For me, for example, the most beautiful would be when there are rehearsals, that all rehearsals are open, all rehearsals are shows. So we are just working together, and perhaps somebody's in the public, and then he can tell you something he knows. For example, we invite people that become experts, and perhaps at one moment they even become directors, you know, because I don't really like directing. So I can give this away. And and I think you should be, yeah, you should just like kind of, how to say, take the whole thing as your stage as an actor. So what you do in the morning, what you do in the midtime, what you do in night, all this is your job as an artist. It doesn't begin and doesn't stop.
We thank you. We have heard you very well now. We have super. A question for the chat, from the chat. Your expectation for the future, Sylvia says, probably only drinking something strong in this moment after this call. But seriously, if you have, she asks, if you have expectations for the future in this moment, particular expectations.
Yeah, I mean, we all live this, or we all still living this so-called epidemic times, the lockdown, and so on and so on. And of course, the hopes, I think we all, especially as intellectual and artists, and perhaps even lefties here united, I guess, we hope that we don't go back to normal too early, that we don't go back to the structures where we came from, or to put it differently, that the structures are not stronger than we are, you know, in this special moment when structures are very weak. For example, a big city theater like the hall, our biggest hall is 700 people, and a kind of, in pandemic time, it's a death chamber. So our bourgeois theater halls turned into death chambers. So that means that we shouldn't go there and make theater. It's a clear sign. I mean, we can take it. We can go, I think Lino said, we can go to the streets. We can go to other places. Perhaps the time of theater is just over for sometimes, you know? Perhaps there are more and different things to do than only waiting that you can play in front of 50 and then 100 and then 150 people with masks and with a distance. And why would you do this? You know, it's like animals that learn the trick, and we want to do this trick until the end of our lives. That's no reason, you know. And so this is my hope. I hope you understood it technically.
Yeah, totally. Yes, thank you, Milo. Lino, what about you?
I'll be really very fast. These three latest months apparently gave the actor category the appearance of a working class. And something like citizenship consciousness, political consciousness, has slightly appeared. I just hope that this embryo of a new approach to the relation with our society, and to the complex of our rights and our dues to the society, will not disappear with the pandemic emergency, and will not disappear before the end of pandemic emergency, because we have just had to face number 2 or 2.5. There's a lot to do, and in the meantime, while we are through this kind of strange forest we are passing through, well, we must not forget what we seem to have learned about the importance of being citizens and workers and then artists.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Milo is gone again. Now is the moment that we close this conversation. I really thank you, Lino, also because you were in this moment, definitely, yes, you were absolutely great as always in this conversation. So thank you, people, because
and
it was
thank
really
you very
hard.
much, Rossella, because you were a hero. And I think I have to offer a pizza to you. I think
Okay.
maybe now we can go to the restaurant. So wow, fantastic.
It's time.
So
Yeah.
thank you very much also to
But
the
show
people.
yourself, Giacomo, please.
Giacomo, where are you? Giacomo Pedini is a partner in crime with Silvia Gussoni in organizing this talk.
Yes, because this event was the last part of a workshop we had at Sapienza University. So the questions Rossella made to our guests were the result of the workshop we did in the month of May. So thank you very much to everything, and to Milo Gon, and to Rossella and Lino and Giacomo, and all the students, of course, because they are the addressee, the first ones of this initiative. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody.
Yeah, thank you, Lino.
It was an amazing theater train performance, I read.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Of course. But everything is recorded.
Fantastic. I think that Milo will have to use it for a new spectacle, you know, a new production.
Maybe.
Also, we the coup of the coup de théâtre at the end.
Yes, the huge cliffhanger.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you, everybody. See you soon. Stay safe.
You too.
Bye.
Bye.